So I'm gonna talk about the energy of this week and what's going on. There are two major things going on this week and major themes. So whenever you get a new moon is an opportunity to sow seeds. What are seeds? Seeds are mental, things you think about other people, emotional, what you feel about other people, words, what you say about other people, and then actions, what you do to other people. So the way you actually sow seeds that grow in the karmic system is you sow seeds by doing one of those four things. You either think, feel, say, or do unto other people. So you have an opportunity every new moon to sow seeds in a particular area that affects other areas. The question is, what are those areas? That's what we're going to be covering today. So the first area is when you have the opportunity early this week in this new moon to sow seeds that will be the wealth of your communication. When you sow seeds into the home life, and you sow seeds into your emotional state, you invest in the people you feel at home with, your nurturing qualities, or your sense of motherhood, meaning mothering your people, mothering yourself even, or being the womb of Christ consciousness for the world, being a mother for the world. When you do that, it's the wealth of your effort. That means it becomes the currency you use to make efforts in your life. So if your efforts are weak, the reason your efforts are weak is because you haven't been investing in your emotions. You haven't been refueling yourself. You haven't been feeling more grounded. This is the week to sow seeds for that. The other thing that it's going to do is it's going to sow seeds for your money to work for you. So when you sow into your intuition, you sow seeds into your sense of self, you start to nourish yourself, it actually makes your money work harder for you. So if you do have any investments, if you want your investments to grow, you have to invest in your intuition. Because your intuition in the field that you have for the marketplace is directly affecting the things that happen in that marketplace and how you move money. So even if it's not money that you're moving, but it's resources like human resources, you have employees that you need to put in this place or that place, or you need to allocate those human resources toward one part of your business and fixing one part of your business. It also, when you invest in your intuition, your nurturing side of yourself, you start to sow seeds for other people. I mean, you take care of other people, mother other people, care for other people, sow seeds into them. Remember, other people are the earth. You have the seeds that you sow into other people. If you do that, you strengthen the foundation of your ambition and identity. So who you are as a person gets stronger when you invest and nurture and take care of other people. One of the reasons why is when you take care of other people, seeds sow not only in your mind, but it sows in theirs. They start to see you a certain way. So it solidifies who you are based on who you give to and how you give. That's one of the major things. You have the opportunity to sow into your creativity spiritually. So this is a direct connection. The more you care for people, the more intuitive and spiritually connected you become. It's pretty straightforward. The more you nurture and care, the more connected you become to your spiritual realm, to your subconscious mind, to seeing what's not there. The more you become connected to people outside of your immediate vicinity, people who are in your subconscious mind or even in other states and cities, you become more attuned to that. You have opportunity to sow seeds there. The other thing that's a little challenging, you have opportunity to sow seeds of obstacles for your gains or dissolve obstacles. If you don't act unto other people as you would like them to act unto you, you actually damage your gains. So if you lack nurture, if you lack care, if you lack concern for other people, one of the issues is that can stop your gains. Also, if you care too much and you feel like you're treating them like they are friends, rather than allocating resources and thinking objectively, sometimes that can damage your gains. So you got to watch for that this week. The next thing, when you invest in your intuition, you become a great partner for business partners. So when you become a friend, when you invest in your intuition, you invest in your nurturing side of your life, you invest in yourself as far as you invest in others, you invest in the care of others, you invest in the emotional state of other people, you become a great partner for business people. So if you want to become a great business partner or spouse even, and you really want to sow seeds for that, then you have the opportunity this week. It will strengthen your partnerships. So if you feel like you don't have a founder, you're a founder and you don't have somebody to run the thing with you, or you don't have that one person, then take the time this week and sow seeds into your people, and one of them may become a founder. See, this is what seeds do. If you sow positive intent into people, then it eventually grows out and becomes something. So sometimes those people who are right next to you may step up and say, I want to play a bigger role, and they actually do so. The other thing that you have the opportunity to do when you sow into your intuition is transform your knowledge, higher knowledge. So you can transform higher knowledge into practicality. So what does that mean? So when you invest in being more nurturing to other people, you actually get to learn more. One of the things that's hard for people to understand is if you don't care about other people, if you don't nurture other people, then it blocks your ability to learn. It's not every single area is connected. So if you don't care about people, it's gonna be hard for you to learn higher knowledge. If you do care about people and sow into other people, you sow seeds for higher knowledge to transform via the information that you have in your mind. So some people have studied scripture and studied the books for a long time, but they don't care about people. So I was in a church for a while, and in a church, one of the challenges was people would know scripture, but they wouldn't care about the human beings. And if you care about scripture but not the human beings, you disregard my experience of life. You really don't care how I think. You want to push your agenda on me. These people had a lot of head knowledge, but they weren't transformed by the knowledge. And I realized that there were people who had no idea about the scripture, but they cared about other people, and they got insights directly from God without even ever having a religion. You might be that person. This is the benefit of sowing into other people. Okay, this also, when you sow into other people and care about them, what you reap from that is you reap the benefits of your deeper subconscious thoughts. You actually get your fortune, or the gains that you get when you by yourself, when you deep down in a dungeon in dark places, the benefits that come out of that happen from you sowing in other people. So to give you an example, if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through a transition where you are not in the place you used to be, but you're not quite transitioned to the next place, you're in the middle of doing shadow work, you're in the middle of transforming, all the benefits from your transformation will come from you sowing seeds right now, by sowing into other people. This is key. You have to care for other people during this time. It's a new moon. If you want a relationship and a partnership that work for you, this is the best time for that. If you sow seeds right now, achieving a relationship is easy. If you sow seeds and care for other people, mother and care for other people, you will sow seeds for a relationship during the season. Also, lastly, you will realize huge gains in your ability to serve people. Now, this may not be sexy. Your ability to serve people is directly connected to the money you make. Without being able to serve people above and beyond what other people do, you cannot make more money than other people have, or you can't increase the money that you have at all. It's just about service. You have the opportunity to sow seeds by caring and nurturing other people. You have the opportunity to cultivate service abilities. So this is another area it affects. And very last thing, helps you to lose your ego. Lose your sense of originality in self. This might not be sexy, but if you lose your huge identity and need to be recognized, then projects can work for you. So by caring about other people, it dissolves your ego. So these are the main areas that are affected by you sowing seeds: verbal seeds, action seeds, mental seeds, and emotional seeds into other people. That is the energy of this week that's happening on a new moon. It's happening Tuesday. Now, what's interesting is on Tuesday, that new moon is conjunct Mercury retrograde and the sun. So today, you probably want to take inventory of who you have become and who you would like to be, and start to embody that personality and that energy now. Why is that the case? Because once again, the new moon, the area that you sow seeds, is conjunct with your mind. So be careful when it comes to that. If you look backwards, you only want to look backwards to appreciate the lessons you learned and to reverse the energy. Now that's for another video, but you can go back into the past. Neville Goddard called it revision. I think it's Tevav in Kabbalistic teaching, but you can go back, and even in karmic teachings in Hinduism and Buddhism, you can go back because time does not exist. It exists in a quantum field. You could go back and change the past. So you will be thinking about the past, maybe not super distant past, and maybe so. But when you look backwards, make sure you're not looking backwards to be sad, because you will sow seeds for that to be created in the next cycle, the next moon cycle, the full moon. That's when things come to fruition. You don't want to do that. So as it relates to the sun, if you sow into other people, then naturally who you are is going to grow and expand and be put into that process of sowing. So that soul work you've been doing is going to benefit you this week. Okay. So two things can happen. You can either be distracted by beauty and be distracted by relationships that specifically in areas where people are serving and more pure than you, and start to do a comparison game. That can happen at the end of this week. You'll be tempted to do that. This is an opportunity to examine your own insecurity and your own comparison fatigue. When you compare yourself to other people, first of all, nobody is the same, so comparison makes no sense. It causes your blessings to be blocked. You will have an opportunity to see how well you've overcome that, or how much work you have to do toward the end of the week on this. Because you will be comparing and being competitive with the people and relationships around you, with people who are more pure than you, or are more holy than you, or are more service oriented than you. On the flip side, the beauty could distract you from being who you are. So you can look at somebody else, see how they're being, which is still comparison, and it could challenge who you are or who you believe yourself to be. Now, if you get challenged by your mind and who you believe yourself to be, what's the issue with that? You need to realize that this ego is fragile and can be transformed. So it's opportunity for when you look at those other people, it can distract you from who you are. And that means you need to have a stronger sense of self, or a sense of self-worth, or drop the ego altogether. Your ambition. So what you have a focus on, that could be torn away. That could distract you. You could be distracted from the work you've already been doing in identity. So this is the energy of the week. If you want to understand a deeper level of this for yourself and have a specific chart read, and you like the way this sounds, and you want to understand this as it relates to you specifically, then you can message me and see how we can help you. But other than that, I love y'all. I will see y'all next week.